Okay, so here we go. So thanks for coming up to this workshop. I'm going to be teaching, I know the description of it said modal tunes, plural, but I'm going to sort of focus on one tune. And if we get past that, then we can maybe dive into some others, or I can give you some suggestions of other modally tunes. But it's a sort of a fun genre of clawhammer tunes because it ends up being quite notey, but you do play them in usually this double C tuning, which means you can kind of still have a lot of that drivey sort of clawhammer rhythm stuff. So it's sort of just a fun combination of everything to work for it. So the tune I was going to go into today was this song called Half Irish, which is a Snake Chapman's tune. Snake Chapman was this Kentucky fiddle player. He was actually born in Canada, Kentucky, sort of northeast Kentucky, and an amazing fiddle player. Wrote a bunch of amazing fiddle tunes, but often they tended to be in this kind of modal sound. He has a couple of D modal tunes, like the other ones. Also known, he plays. It's called Snake Chapman's tune, and there's a bunch of them. But this one is apparently, the story is he heard an Irish fiddle player and like was really amazed by that sound and went home and wrote this tune that was trying to sound like an Irish, or the closest thing he could remember to what the fiddle player sounded like, and he got this tune out of it. I'll just play through it once so you can kind of hear how it goes. There's 3 parts to it, and then we'll dive right in. So that's the tune. You can kind of hear there's a bunch of ornaments in there that, even like all these little things that kind of tell the story of him hearing these little ornaments and wanting to emulate that. But let's just dive in. And the way I kind of want to teach this one, I'm going to try out sort of a different method. Usually the way I do this is I teach sort of a basic skeletal version of the song, and then we'll go back through the song and add things to it. But I think I'm going to try it this time where we'll teach an A part, sort of the basic version of it, so we can all get that down. But then I will also teach the A part in the sort of more advanced version. I'm just going to make sure I keep checking this chat box in case anyone has anything to mention, but it looks like we're good so far. So perfect. Okay, so here comes the A part. And it starts with just a regular clawhammer strum. And just to clarify, I think everyone here is sort of, we've all played banjo together at some point, so I think we're aware of the terms. But the sort of 3 terms we can use today are the basic clawhammer strum, which is just bum ditty. And everyone's sort of done that before, striking note. The other one is double thumbing, so that's where you're hitting a melody note, and then your thumb hits the 5th string in between. You get sort of twice as many notes as the bum ditties. That would. And then the third technique is drop thumbing. So that's where you're striking a melody note and your thumb drops down to an internal string and plucks it, and that's when you get also, twice as many notes. So when I say drop thumbing, your thumb drops down to internal strings. If I say double thumbing, you're just kind of hitting a melody note. And if I'm saying regular clawhammer stroke, it's the bum ditty. The one thing I will say is that this is sort of a tip that I learned from my sort of teacher, Chris Kuhl, who is really helpful, is that if there's ever a drop thumb that is getting in the way of you kind of learning the piece, you can always substitute a drop thumb with a double thumb, and it's a lot easier. So if I was playing this line, I could always go, and it really does the same function. It doesn't quite have as much melodic information, but it still gets the point across. And so it's better to sort of get the piece up and running than it is to have all those little details in line. But so the first part, we're just going to do a basic clawhammer strum on the low fourth string. So that's going to sound like this. So that's pretty simple. 3, 4. And then we jump up a whole octave to our second string, and we go bum, and that's another clawhammer strum. So we have bum, bum, again, fourth string, second string. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move to this sort of like a C shape. If we're in the key of D, it's this sort of 7 chord. Normally, it's played a full sort of triangle shape, if you can see my hand. But the way we're going to play it today is get rid of that first string and just leave that open. So we just have the 2 strings there. That's the 3rd string at the 3rd fret and 2nd string at the 2nd fret. So we have this chord. Very kind of, modal sounding chord. And what we do is we do a bum ditty on that 3rd string. So we go back from the very top. We have open with the low string, 4th, 2nd string, and then we make our chord. Let's do that a couple times. 3, 4. And that's sort of the melody of the fiddle. Boom, and we have. So that's where we're kind of at in the melody. And this is going to be a series of drop thumbs. And it's a little bit tricky because we're using those lower strings. But again, like I said at the very beginning, you can always substitute it with a double thumb. You can always just use that 5th string instead of dropping the thumb down. But the line sounds like this. We strike the open 2nd string. Our thumb drops down to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So that first little line is. And then we do another drop thumb. It's from 3rd string, open 3rd string, to 5th fret of the 4th string. So that 4-note phrase is. One more time. Drop thumb, 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Open 3rd string, 5th fret of the 4th string. So when we put that all together, let's start from the very top. We have low, high, chord, drop thumb, drop thumb. All right, let's do that one more time. 3, 4. Chord, drop thumb, drop thumb. Now, we could do the same beginning line where we have low, high, but really what kind of happens on the fiddle, and we want to sort of get as close to the fiddle melody as possible, is he does a hammer on to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, which is, and again we land on that open 2nd string. Kind to start the next phrase. So let's walk through that all together. The first line is low, high, chord, drop thumb, and the next phrase starts with this hammer on. Let's just do that much a couple of times. 3, 4. Low, high, chord, drop thumb, hammer on, open. Now, a cool thing you can kind of do with this hammer on starting the next phrase is if you want to leave your ring finger down on that 5th fret of the 4th string, you kind of get a cool chord, which sounds like this. This is sort of kind of, 7-ish chord. So again, all together we have low, high, chord, drop thumb, hammer on, open 2nd string. And we're going to finish out this first line. And this is a kind of a tricky melodic phrase, but we're going to recycle it a bunch in this song. So you kind of want to spend some time working on this one. And it's the way we kind of end both A and B parts. And what happens is we start with a hammer on to our 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So that's... So make sure we get that nice and clean. Then we do a drop thumb from open 3rd string to 5th fret of the 4th string. So those together is hammer on, drop thumb, and a pull off from the 4th fret of the low 4th string. So that's hammer on, drop thumb, pull off. And that's how we finish the whole first line. I'll do that again. Time. So let's go from the very top. I'll call it out as we play along. 3, 4. Low, high, chord, drop thumb, hammer on. Here's our ending line. One more time from the very top. 3, 4. I just want to check in with everyone. How is this sort of pace for everyone? Is this working out for everybody? Thumbs up? Everyone's following along? Okay, great. Perfect. Okay. So let's move on. So luckily enough, the way a lot of these fiddle tunes work is we're going to recycle a lot of that information and then tag sort of like a different ending to the very end of it. So the beginning part starts the same. We have low, high, drop thumb, and here's where it changes. So normally what we do is we go, that's that drop from open 3rd to 5th fret of the 4th string. That's what we did in the previous line. This is where it's going to change up. We're actually going to do a hammer on from open 3rd string to 3rd fret. So that's pretty simple. And we have this really kind of interesting walk down line. And it's, if you can picture it on a fiddle, it's this sort of unison E note that they sort of jump up to. So that's what we're going to try and emulate, which is hammer on, and this is sort of a pickup. And here's our ending line. We go, it's sort of all double thumb, so there's no drop thumb in this. And we go open 1st, open 2nd, 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and we land on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So that's Let's do that again. And to end the whole thing, we're going to do the same thing that we just did on the last phrase. Hammer on. Drop, thumb, pull off. So I'll walk through that second line, and that sounds like this, and I'll sort of talk through it as we go. So it starts with the same opening line. Low, high, chord, drop thumb. Here's where it changes. Hammer on. I'll play that again really slowly. 3, 4. Low, high, chord, drop thumb. And when we have phrases like this kind of, this sort of walk down line, this really sort of nice quarter note line, I really try and make my left hand, the sort of, the shape of it, allow all the strings to ring out as much as possible so we can kind of keep that chord ringing. Kind of get this really nice sort of overtone sound. So let's play both those lines together. I'll sort of talk through it, and then we'll just play it a couple times just to really get that down. So the first one starts the same as the second one. Low, high. 3, 4. Low, high, chord, drop thumb, hammer on. The second line, chord. Here's our ending. I'll do it a little slower. 3, 4. Low, high, chord. And again. So that's the sort of the A part, the sort of basic version, although this is kind of a tricky song. I'll play it a little bit faster so you can kind of hear how it all comes together. 3, 4. A couple of notes about the left hand. I don't really have any way of putting the left hand in the tablature, and there's a couple ways you can do it. You can really get by a lot with using your index finger on that 3rd fret and the ring finger on the 5th fret of the, because that's kind of like the chord we use a lot in this first and second part, actually. You could also, in that instance, I was using my pinky, so that could be something you can kind of work on, see which one feels more comfortable. But yeah, either one of those two shapes kind of thing. But something to play around with. Okay, I'm just going to check in quickly, make sure everyone's doing all right. Thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to now teach sort of a sort of like slightly more advanced version of that A part. So if that was, a lot to work on, just, keep practicing what we just went over, and then you can always come back to this video recording and work on the more advanced part. But the more advanced one is has this little ornament right off the top. The rest of it's all the same, but it's kind of a fun little ornament, and it actually uses this technique called the left-hand pull-off, which I feel like a lot of us have done before. But what happens is we're going to pull off an open second string with our really any finger, but I usually use my ring finger. And what we have is this rhythm is, if you think about it in 4 notes, it's 1, 1, 2, rest, 4, 1, 2, rest, 4. So what I'm doing there is I'm striking the low 4th string, immediately plucking the 2nd string with my left hand, right? And again, that's completely independent. I could pluck from anywhere on the fretboard. So we go 1, 2, rest, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, rest, 4. And actually, we end up playing the same thing afterwards. It's a 2nd string bum ditty. So that whole line is 1, 2, rest, 4, go. I'll just kind of keep looping that rhythm. Notice when I do that rest, my thumb actually kind of hits the neck of the banjo in place of where that note would be. I just find that kind of a useful way of keeping the rhythm kind of, keeping it feeling solid. So a lot of people who play over the pot of the head, you can still do the same thing. And you could do it lighter. You don't have to make as much of an accented note. So that's the opening line. It's just different than, instead of going, we get this. And it's sort of emulating this kind of rocking bow rhythm that he plays. It's very kind of Kentucky style, where they have very syncopated. And so the next line is definitely where the sort of Irishy ornament comes into play. We want to get used to this shape. It's the same shape that we were working with, the same chord, but we're going to be doing a lot of these little pull-offy things with our index fingers. We want to make sure we get that going. And what the line is it starts with a pull-off from the 2nd string. So we're going to strike this 3rd string at the 3rd fret. We then do this pull-off, again, independent. We follow that up with a drop thumb, which is 1st to 2nd. So this melodic phrase is. What we do is we do a triplet here. And what we're doing is we're doing a pull-off from the 2nd fret. Again, this chord doesn't really change. Do a pull-off from the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And it's a pull-off into a drop thumb. So that sounds like this. Even slower. Pull-off thumb. So when we add that all together, we have. And to really kind of get that ornamented sound, it's not like as even of a triplet as you might think. It's not da, 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 da. it's really this kind of fast. That kind of thing. That sort of sound. And after that, it actually ends up being the same. We do a drop thumb. So that would be the same as the first line. So we go from the very top. The advanced version sounds like this. And up to tempo. One more time. So that takes a little bit of getting used to, especially getting the rhythm of that triplet right. You can also play around with, I find with triplets and trills and things, sometimes there's, you want the actual note in the scale. Like in this case, we're kind of playing the note in the scale. Sometimes if you go a semitone below the note in the scale, it kind of makes because the triplet is so fast, it sometimes makes it sound a little more accurate or something like that. So I'll give you an example. You could do from the 2nd fret, which is how I've tabbed it out. But if we were to pull off from the 1st fret, which is really not in the scale, it's going to sound really weird. But having that dissonance really fast can actually kind of accent the triplet a little more. So it would sound like this. Almost adds that the speed element to it. So up to tempo. So something to play around with. You can go, or there's always kind of different techniques to make it sound. And I think at different tempos, they both kind of work. All right, quick check-in, see how everyone's doing with that. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, nice. Here we go, a little festive triplet moment. And again, you'll have the recording of this and the tablature, so you can kind of go through it at your own pace. And again, if there's ever any questions, just send me an email. But let's dive into the B part here. And it's pretty simple. It uses a lot of the same endings we've already learned. It's more of this kind of like low droning fiddle stuff. And the way that we'll learn the sort of basic version of it is it starts with a hammer-on to the 5th fret of the low 4th string. That's kind of a cool ringing chord. So you leave that finger planted down, and that's just a bum ditty with a hammer on the beginning. And we're going to keep this shape, and again, so we're working a lot with this shape. If you want to use your ring finger, you could do that. If you want to use your pinky, you could do that. But we're going to pull off from that 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So we have hammer on, pull off, again, 2 bum ditties in a row. So hammer on, pull off. So that's pretty simple. One more time. And we actually end this very first phrase, this clip of the beginning of the B part, the same way we would end the sort of A part. It's this hammer-on line, which is hammer onto the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and then drop thumb, and pull off. That line is. So those 2 beginning bits are the hammer onto the 5th fret, pull off from the 3rd fret, and then end. next phrase is almost identical. It's this really kind of a droney section. We start with that same hammer on, pull off. This time we're going to do a hammer on to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string and land on that 2nd string open. So that whole melodic phrase sounds like this from the very top. And just as an example of being able to substitute double thumbs with drop thumbs, it would sound like this. With the hammer-ons, with the drop thumbs, it would sound like this. Without the drop thumbs, it sounds like this. It's almost identical in this kind of stuff. So again, if like sometimes those drop thumbs on the low 4th string can be really hard to get and can kind of mess up the rhythm of everything, don't worry about them. If they're not a problem, obviously you want to play them. Sort of almost makes 0 difference in this section. Moving on, we have the same phrase as the beginning phrase, which is hammer on to 5th fret. Pull off, hammer, drop thumb, pull off. And we're going to end this phrase the same way the A part ends it, which is again, so that's 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd fret of 3rd string, 5th fret, 4th string, and our same ending, which is hammer on, drop thumb. So let me just play through that B part a couple of times so you can sort of hear how it all sort of melodically fits together. 3, 4. So that's sort of the pretty simple version of the B part, and it's sort of the more advanced version. If you really wanted to add, it's very similar to the A part, where we have this pull off line where we get the same rhythm, literally the same way we started, which is except for I think there's less of a rest there. The first one we have pull off rest. This one is sort of more straight, where we have pull off. So to add that into the B part, it sounds like this. So that's one sort of rhythmic variation you can add to the B part. The other thing you can do, which is kind of fun, you can do it in both sections, is because the fiddle part really relies on this unison line, it's this sort of high E string, and they usually match on the A string of the fiddle. And so you can kind of replicate that a little bit with our 2nd string. If we do, say, a hammer on to the second fret of the second string, we would get that unison note. And so you can kind of do that because we have, they're sort of long quarter notes. We have a bit of space to play around with. We can go. Again, that's. So if we add all those little elements together, we have. Play around with it, a little anticipation, that kind of thing. It's sort of fun to play around with. Cool. So you'll have that. Just checking in one more time. Thumbs up, everybody. Everyone's following along. Great. Okay. So now we'll just dive into the C part, and this is the one it's actually the basic version of it's really simple. And I find the sort of more advanced version of it really tricky. And what we want to sort of focus on with the basic version is we're just really keeping that strum going. That's kind of like train rhythm. So I find a lot of times when you dive into melodic style banjo, it's really easy to sort of forget about the strum. And you can kind of get these lines where... Right? And you just sort of like, there's none of that drive. So what we're going to try and do is kind of combine both of them. The first bit is literally just a pull off from that second fret of the first string. So let's just do that. Then we do a pull off from the fifth fret of the first string. So those together are... And then we're going to go pull off from the second fret again. And a slide from second fret to fifth fret. So all that together is pull off, pull off, pull off, slide. One more time. 3, 4. To end the whole thing is, end this first line, we have pull off again, pull off from the fifth fret, pull off from second fret again, and open second string. So we put that all together, we have pull off, fifth fret, second fret, slide. Melody, this sort of, you can kind of hear the melodic phrase is not a ton to work with there. So that's it. I'll just play that up to tempo so you can hear that. Sense. The second line, to end the whole song, we do the same thing. We go fifth fret, second fret, slide, and here's where it changes. We're going to do an open second string, third fret, and we're going to kind of end it with the same drop thumb line. We're almost doing half the phrase that we did. We go drop thumb to fifth fret of the fourth string. Fourth. So that ending line is open second string, third fret, So when we put that whole C part together, it's pretty simple. It's just pretty much using the clawhammer stroke the whole time except for the very ending line, and it'll sound like this. 3, 4, second fret, 5th fret, second fret, slide, second fret, 5th fret, second fret, open. We'll do that again. Second fret, 5th fret, second fret, slide, open second string, 3rd fret, drop thumb. Let's do that again. Second fret, 5th fret, second fret, slide. Nice. Okay, so that's the basic version. I'm sure everyone can figure that out. It's pretty simple. What we're going to do with the more advanced version is we're going to do a lot of these little left-hand pull-offs, and that's so that we can kind of fit in the more of the melodic phrases. And it's kind of interesting because if you look at the tablature, the right hand really doesn't change that much. We're kind of doing this. It's so much the same, but the left hand's going to be doing the heavy lifting. So the first way that it does that is when we have this first strum. So right out of the gate, when we have, let's all just do that. What we want to do is during that strum, we're going to add a hammer on to that 4th fret of the 2nd string. So that's going to sound like this. And there's a couple of things you can do that would take the place of when we're doing a regular bum ditty. It would take the place of where the thumb sort of picks up. So if we have bum, ditty, bum, ditty, you could do it simultaneously with the thumb on the 5th string. I usually just leave that 5th string out. So instead of going, right, those would be simultaneously. I would leave that 5th string out and just do the hammer on. And that sort of kind of makes the melodies pop out a little more. Nice. Then we're going to do this pull off, which is from the 5th fret. Right? So that is almost the same. But same thing as where that 5th string would be with a regular bum ditty. We're going to do a pull off to the open 1st string with our left hand. So that's. So those two phrases together sound like this. Let's cycle that through. That's kind of a tricky line. 3, 4. Nice. Then we're going to go, so the next phrase is drop thumb, drop thumb. So that's pretty easy. 2nd fret, drop thumb. And what we're going to do is go to our 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So let's get that with our middle finger. And then pull off to the open 2nd string with our ring finger. Again, if this section is too difficult, make sure to just practice up on the beginner version of it, and then you can always add elements of this to it. But this line is, and what it does is it replaces the slide. So in the last version we had, in this version we're going to go pull, so let's pull off to the open 2nd string. And right before it, again, that drop thumb line is 2nd fret, So we put all this together, we have I'll do that a couple times really slowly. 3, 4. Oh, sorry. That was not it at all. 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. Nice. Then moving on, we have that same opening line. Pull off, hammer on. And this is where our line changes. We go drop thumb from second fret to open second string. And then drop thumb from open first to fourth fret of the third string. And open second string. So that's... Let's play those two phrases together. 3, 4. Nice. So moving on, we kind of have just to finish this whole tune. We have that same line to start off with, which is. So the first line we played, and in the beginner's version of it, we ended the whole song with open second string, third fret. Drop thumb, bum, and it's essentially that line with a couple of more notes is how you can end it. So we can do second string, which is, and then a pull off to this open first string. So again, that's a left hand pull off, and we go back to that second string. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I play the right thing. Right, okay, so second string, pull off to open first string. Back to second string. Drop thumb to open third string. Now we play this third fret of the third string. Pull off to open second string. Drop thumb from third fret of the third string to fifth fret of the fourth string. And then open third string, back to fifth fret of the fourth string. And this kind of chromatic line, we're going to go 3, 4. And that's a hammer on or a slide. And open. Let me play that. That line is kind of confusing. I'll play that really slowly, and then we can also, open that up to questions. But it sounds like this. Again. And up to tempo, it sounds like this. It's kind of a really fun line once you get it, but there's a lot of information there. So let me just play through this whole advanced B section, and then we'll open it up to questions, and then maybe I'll just play through the whole song one more time, just so that everyone can kind of have a play along track. I'll send this video out and the tablature to both kind of versions, the advanced and the beginner. But let's play through this C section, the last section of the song, and you can practice along to this. So 3, 4. that's the whole tune. That's a tune called Half Irish. So you kind of have a couple of different options to play around with. But let's open it up. If anyone has any questions right now, we can do that. Or if there's any section that you want kind of more clear instruction on.
Well, could you play it up to speed with some variations then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can do that for sure. All right. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's try sort of up to speed, and I'll sort of add some extra little things I can think of. Some options there, but really most of the stuff that we worked on, a couple of phrases, also a really fun phrase that actually, I'll send out the Snake Chapman version of it, but he does these things. I think he really, there's just trying to play sort of Irish ornaments from ear, from hearing someone. There's a couple times through the phrase, it's not in the recorded version, but there's a couple of like sort of versions of someone taping him at Mount Airy or one of these fiddlers conventions, and he does this line which is kind of interesting because everything else is modal. So he has, and that's to that fourth fret of the third string, and then you go back to the modal, which is so. That's kind of a fun one you can play around with. It's really the same sort of technique we already worked on, but you're using that fourth fret of the third string, which pretty much the whole tune, you're kind of at that third fret, that kind of bluesy sound. So that's another variation that's kind of fun to play around with. But yeah, any other questions? All right. Well, feel free to sign off at any point. I'll play through this thing one more time, so if anyone wants to practice through, you're more than welcome to it. I'll take this recording and I'll put it up on YouTube and send everyone a YouTube link, so that way you should be able to play, like, you should be able to slow it down or speed it up and that kind of thing. Have those options. But thanks again for signing on to this class. I really appreciate it, and it's good to see everybody, although you're in just a little small box in the corner of the screen. But hope everyone has a good holiday, and yeah, I'll play through this one more time. Feel free to play along, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon. All right, here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. And one more time. Perfect. Well, I'll stop the recording there.